On time people are on time. Thank you very much for being on time. Actually, early is on time. On time is late. That's the scenario that we go by.
Oh, that's a
You
good one to
know,
remember.
that is a big one. Okay, let's just get started. Here's what we're gonna
Let's
do.
do it.
In the first minute, we're gonna give away so much sauce so that everyone who comes in late misses that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's give some sauce. Let's give some sauce away right away. What do we got?
Let's do it. Number one, we have to get accountability right after we give the sauce. Number one, I have to tell you, this is a secret source for you to make money from both sides. If
We're
you are driving around and you need extra money, get with somebody in the group and have them pay you $500 a month and wrap your car. Boom, you just picked up 500 bucks a month. If you are on the other side of that and you're looking for a way to get a bunch more super cheap leads, then find somebody on here who has a car and are driving around a whole lot and pay them 500 bucks a month. Or if you're on the paying side, get them to just allow you to pay them 500 bucks per closed deal from their car. Boom, they're probably going to make like 1500 a month, but you have no risk.
I like it. Okay. Well, we're here. We're here with all the people who were on time and the people who were a minute late, but we're
I
all
think
here.
that was genius, Leo. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think I'm not sure. I didn't see the excitement on their faces that I was feeling sharing that.
Everyone's just waking up. So we can slow it down on that one and we can give it one more time and see who got it and see who missed it.
Absolutely. The objective is I want to give the framework or the foundation of what I'm thinking about. And that is just be creative. Every time you take an Uber, a Lyft, meet somebody at a restaurant, just be thinking, how do I find out ways to let more people know for the lowest cost possible that I buy houses? Because when they're calling me, I'm going to close every 5 to 10 who I talk to. So that's the
Absolutely.
foundation.
So let's get into it, Andrew. Good morning. Welcome in, or actually good afternoon. Again, it's 12 for me, 3 for some of you all, but it is Monday, June 17th, and it is day what, 14?
That's right.
Day 14. Rock and roll. And we got 100 of you beautiful people on here. You all woke up, you're all alive today. You all have able limbs and the ability to smile. Let me see those beautiful white teeth. If they're yellow, it's okay. We got some products for that. Just kidding, not yet, but it's all right. The thing is that you guys all have the ability to smile, the ability to be on here today, the ability to breathe, and that is a big blessing in and of itself. So, what we want to cover today is getting out of that weekend slump. We want to get some of you guys caught up. We've called a couple leads, so we want to update on that. And we just want to get you guys into a mental state of excitement. So you guys are making these calls and getting deals. We have a big, exciting announcement. We've had one student who just closed a $63,000 deal. So we'll have them talk about that in a moment. So you guys are getting deals. It's working, but it's working for those who are staying consistent and showing up, staying consistent in being mentally focused on the business, making their calls and doing what is necessary. And you guys who are on here, know that it is possible. Know that you are here for a reason. And all you need to do is stay consistent and take the actions that are necessary to get you to that next level. All right. So, as always, we like to hold up a beverage of choice because we like to stay hydrated. As you could tell, I have a lot of coffee in my system, but hold up your beverage. I
Have
drank
me
some
some
coffee and I got my
breakfast tea.
water.
Or this
Okay.
is actually mid-afternoon tea.
There you go. Everybody type in the chat how you're feeling, 1 out of 10. Just do a little bit of a self-reflection, see where you are. Okay.
Somebody just logged in and their name is somebody Hayes Private Lender. If you guys are looking for private money and somebody has their username called Private Lender, I'd be DMing them.
10, 6, 7. Okay. It's all right. Anyone who's below a 9, we're gonna get you up there. But you got to move around. You got to move your body, move everything around, get the blood flowing, smile a little bit more. If you're feeling below a 9, just smile right now. Just smile for 10 seconds and you'll start to go up. Okay. So let's rock and roll. Speaking of reflection, June 17th of last year, me and Andrew did our first, no, our second charity event. And we fed 13,500 kids. And we went to San Francisco with a few of you and we packaged a bunch of meals and threw a giant party for you guys. So that was awesome. Andrew, I don't know if we have any pictures of that, but if you do, we should definitely share some of that because I want to do another one of those, multiple of those coming up this year and next year with you guys.
1 year ago today. That's crazy.
I know it's time is flowing so fast.
I'm
But
looking
that's
up the pictures right now.
while you look up the pictures, guys, this is what the business does for you is it gives you the ability to host these type of events. It gives you the ability to give back. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. We got a nice little, we had to wear these hair nets so we wouldn't get it in the food. But it was such a fun event, and we'll probably do another one, coming up this year, and we'll invite you all there. But again, that's what this business does. It allows us to buy properties on owner finance, sell on lease option, and when we sell on a
Here we
lease
go.
option, we get a beautiful non-refundable deposit, and that is, oh, there we go. Kids Against Hunger is who we partnered with. Beautiful. There's the
Leo
team.
eating afterwards.
All
What
right,
a good
let's
time.
dive in.
I want to make mention, though, before we do, just say how many of you over these next 12 months would love to give more to God, church, charity, or giving back? If you would like, type it in the chat, yes. Because that's a huge purpose for me. And I want to share this with you because it's very important. A lot of people ask me about finding good partnerships, and I know Leo gets that question a lot too because you guys see our partnership working so well. And something that I think is very special, we became great friends, and something happened when we partnered up. Leo come to me not long after we bought our first couple of houses together and says, "Hey, would you be okay if we give 10% of all of our sales to God, to charity, to give back to the community?" And it was so crazy to me because that was such a passion and desire for me that I had not verbalized. And it was so cool to see how on the same page that we were in that moment. And I think that comes back to knowing your purpose, knowing your mission, and everything you do takes you one step closer. So I wanted to share that with you. I think that's very powerful.
Absolutely. So let's shout out one of our students two of our students actually, who just did a $63,000 check. We got Chris Minton and Miss Laura. So Chris calls me, he butt dialed me yesterday, but he called me a couple days ago and his energy was just up and out of this world. And it's just beautiful to see that that is what's happening. It's not just that you got a $63,000 check, it's that your energy is up, your belief system is up, you're feeling good. And that is what's happening. You called me with this energy. And Chris, I wanna bring you up here for a moment. Just, talk about this deal, but also talk about your newfound energy that you are seeing and how you're presenting yourself and how you're talking to others, how you're showing up on the phones, all these things that have happened for you.
Well, it's been a blessing. Uh, since y'all done the ReLu event, we learned right there from the beginning the ReLu event in Louisville. Building a team, we closed the deal to start the rehab during y'all's event. We signed ahead of time and got it closed out while we was at the event, and then here right before Andrew's little meetup, the day after, we closed on this deal. So it's only been a few months, and we built the team. They rehabbed the whole house, and we had that thing on the market and sold it in 22 hours. So it was pretty amazing. And here, the last probably month or so, my mindset has changed. It's just like I've been listening and listening. Now it's just time to do. It's time to take action. No more just listening and not implementing. You just got to do it now. So I've been making some phone calls. Andrew's helping me with one later on today. Hopefully, we get that contract over later on this afternoon. So it's been awesome.
What is the importance to you, Chris? Because you just said a lot right there. You said you was at the Relu event, which we have another one coming up here in a few weeks. You said you was at the meetup. You're on this every day. What's been the importance of plugging into this tree and just being surrounded by this constant growth for you?
We'll just changing the mindset. It's just unbelievable how I would sit and think about doing something, but not doing it. And then learning that, listening to everybody around saying, hey, it's just time to do. With this group, you can't fail. I was taught that by wonderful Glenn during our trip with Florida. He said you would never fail as long as you stay connected with this group. And it's always an awesome group to talk with. If you got a problem, you can talk that with somebody, and the problem can get solved pretty quick. So it's just been amazing.
That's powerful, man. Good. Well, thank you for sharing that. And every little $63,000 payday helps. So those are the once in a lifetime
Absolutely.
deals that come along about every
Definitely.
few weeks when you're plugged into this tree in this way. So I'm excited for you, man.
Andrew, before we keep going, something that blew my mind and really gave me the momentum to keep calling and to keep going was when you explained the possibility of momentum if you just started taking action. Now, we
Mm.
spoke about this with the Boslow method. When you explained that to me, and I really got to understand what the heck is the Boslow method. How do I buy on owner finance and sell on lease option? And then collect NRODs. And what happens the next year when if I do just one every single month, what happens the next year? When you explained that to me, Andrew, that changed my life. And I got so much energy because I had belief that if I just keep going, my life can change. Explain that for everyone here and everyone who is listening. The 117 of you guys listening here right now, really try to dial in and imagine that it's just you and Andrew in a coffee shop and you're just hearing him say this. Because that's what happened with me and Andrew. We were at a coffee shop and he was explaining this business after the 19th time of me asking him, Andrew, how the heck are you doing this? So really just dial in and listen here.
So I think the powerful thing is, and I want you to write this down, this word. If you don't have a paper in front of you, write it down in the chat, but I prefer you write it on paper because I want you to just see this in front of you for days. And that word in big, bold letters is momentum. I call it, and underneath it, right, the snowball effect. Something begins to happen when your efforts and energy is compounding. If you ever study compounding interest, a penny a day doubled for 30 days is what, like 5 million something dollars. So for 31 days, you're at 10 million something. It's mind boggling when you start to look at momentum, compounding, the snowball effect. So what happens in this business is exactly that. In 2014, I started calling and buying houses. So I'm calling, getting lots of no, no, no. And I share that because some of you are there right now. You're getting all the no, hang up, no, no, almost there. Almost there. They said yes, and the deal fell through. Almost there, and then their wife, their husband, their tenant, their land, whatever. It's almost there, and you keep experiencing that. So I experienced that the entire year of 2014. But in 2015, the snowball effect was taking place from all the efforts from the year before. So what happened was not only was I getting deals in 2015 that I had originally started calling in 2014, people who I had talked to who I didn't buy their houses in 2014 was friends, family members, and neighbors to the people whose houses I was buying in 2015. So now I remember buying a house on Negley Avenue. And I said, why'd you sell to me? They said, because my neighbor, whose name is Andrew, who, by the way, I'm still friends with to this day. He may be on this Zoom. He still messaged me on Facebook every few months. I had went and looked at Dr. Andrew's house to buy. We ended up not coming to a deal because he had to end up selling it traditionally. But I bought his neighbor's house, and Andrew said, this Andrew, is an amazing guy. You should sell to him. So in the Boslow method, buy under finance, sell and lease option, let's say you only get 2 deals during the rest of this year. And I want you to get a lot more. I'm just saying, worst case scenario. Let's say next year comes along. Not only are you going to be buying more houses, For my experience, in the second year, houses that I bought in the first year begin to cash out. So now every house I buy and add to the portfolio adds income. And then every few months, a house you forgot you even owned because you're just collecting cash flow on it every month, the person who is living in it goes down to the bank, qualifies for a mortgage, and pays you off in full. And you go, oh, crap. I was doing this, getting a non-refundable option deposit and getting cash flow, but I forgot I had another 30, 40, $50,000 back end payday coming months or years down the line. I forgot even existed. That is the snowball effect that continues to roll. And as long as you continue growing this business, it never stops. What else should I be explaining there, Leo, that I'm missing?
Yeah, so the Boston method is really what helped you buy your 500 properties and what helped me buy my 15. And you explained it in such a way that made sense, but it took a lot of time to make sense. So for those of you who don't fully understand it, be okay with that. I want to simplify in such a level where, you know, we got really good at the simple parts of the business. Get leads, which is what we showed you and we'll continue to show you. Call those leads and pre-screen them and negotiate terms. And you just do that. You do it in a loop. You keep doing that in a loop until you get the yeses. But you get the yeses and you get the nos, but the nos turn into follow-ups. So the yeses, that's your chance to buy the property, okay? And we structure the deal. And we taught about how to structure the deal. So we get good at those things. So now let's just say 3 months of us working on this. We're getting really good at structuring deals. We're getting really good at calling, and our confidence goes up and our mindset goes up. Now the business gets a lot easier. So we're starting to make calls and we're getting more yeses because we're getting more leads. Now more leads are coming. Now the momentum is starting to come. We're getting good on the phones. We get more yeses. Now, as the deal gets through, we buy the property. We get a lease option buyer in there. Now, when a lease option buyer, we look for people who have poor credit or who are self-employed because they need at least 2 years of tax returns. Remember that. So there's a lot of people who cannot get a bank loan because they need those 2 years. So if you have bad credit or you're self-employed, those people still want a house. But it's an underserved market. So what do? When we buy that house on owner finance, we sell that property on a lease option. So we go to Sally, who owns an awesome pet care company, and Sally comes and she needs 1 more year of tax returns, but she needs to get in a house. So we have this beautiful house for her that we just bought again on owner financing, and we say, hey, it's a $30,000 non-refundable deposit. That is your upfront payment to get that person in the house. Now you have $30,000 to go build your business and to go get more of these and to get more leads. You see how this momentum is starting to go? And that person is paying rent, and that rent you use to pay off that mortgage. Now, this is going to make a lot more sense as you're doing the business, as you're asking for these numbers, as you're asking these questions. But then a year after that, let's say you're doing one a month of these. A year after that, Sally might be ready. She might get her next year's tax return, and she might be ready to get a bank loan and pay you off on this property. So you get another $30,000 check in the back end. So let's just say you do these every single month, one a month, right? We have students who are doing 4, 5, 6 a month, but let's just say you're
Or
doing one.
Glenn doing 9 in 2 weeks.
That's right. Now you're starting to see the slow snowball effect of how wealth is being built. And it all starts by getting good on the phones, getting good at structuring deals, and just showing up every single day and not giving up. And that's why we're here every single day. That's why we're with our students every single day. That's why me and Andrew work so damn hard. It's because we've done it for ourselves. And now we're seeing so many of our students continue to build and build and build. And now they have that wealth and they're taking care of their health and they're taking care of their mind and they're building their relationships. And it's a beautiful, holistic, successful system. So that is the Bobslow method. And that is the momentum that you can build with the Bobslow method. Give me a thumbs up if that made sense. Rock and roll. Give me a thumbs up if you're going to keep taking action and implement. Half of you? What is this? Where are we? Out of the 120 of you. Okay, there we go. Out of the people that I can see the faces, the beautiful spaces, I see thumbs up. All right. The rest of you, I'm just gonna assume the thumbs aren't up because I can't see
We
the faces.
Something really cool that I want to make mention to you is this momentum that you guys are building, and it is you guys. You know, Leo and I agreed to show up and to share, and you guys have committed to showing up and to continuing to show up through the ups and downs. And of course, you know, those little $63,000 paydays are definitely a good shot in the arm to want to keep showing up, Chris and Laura. But for those of you who have not yet got that, I want you, Chris is smiling from ear to ear for those of you that can't see him. And that's what we want for all of you. And it takes that consistency. Now, they did have a bit of a head start, as you heard him say, because they attended the last live event. You'll be attending the next one with us. And they are part of our mastermind community. And so these leads that you're sending, we've had several almost. Christy on here, I believe she's had one that's come to an almost. It's not quite yet contracted. And I like, how many's okay with me sharing the bad as well as the good? Because I'm going to share the $63,000 checks. I want you to see the deals that fall through too. All right, good. I like to be transparent. I don't know any other way to be. So we had another deal with Erica and Sterling that verbally come to an agreement, but when it come to the contract, he backed off. And we had another deal Glenn had, and I'm not sure if they already sent the contract and got it signed or was getting ready to sign it, and the house literally burnt down. Glenn sent the picture through. It's burnt. The house is burnt to a crisp. So I share that because, that was Lynette and Tom. And so I share that because the almost do come often. And as you're doing this, don't think because you got an almost, well, crap, this ain't working for me. Because I've had 2 and 3 almost before I've had a yes turn to a check. And I've had 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 checks in a row and then some more almost. So it's just the ebb and flow of the business. So I commend you for continuing to show up. We have several more leads, which we're going to be calling tomorrow, but I want to give you 3 gold nuggets right here that you can immediately take and begin implementing, whether you've done 100 deals or 200 or none yet. This is going to serve you really well. When you get on the phone and you start to ask questions, I want you to, number 1, think of the framework. What does this seller need? What does this seller need? You can write that down. If the seller says, I want to be close to my grandkids and move to Florida and sell this house in Tennessee ASAP, you're not going to say, well, good news, we can give you 4 months to move. They've already told you they want to move next week. So be very, very sensitive to what they need. So find that hot button, and if it serves them and we can make it happen for them, then we'll do it. So find out what they need. We do that by asking great questions. So we've talked about the big 3. What's the least you can take on price, lease a month, and usually about nothing down. Our objective while we get on the phone with the seller is to negotiate a win-win. So we're having conversation. Now, here's one of the golden questions that I like to ask, and that is, well, actually, it's a phrase, not a question. I like to call this because sometimes people have not heard yet of what we do until now. This phrase, I say it is a delayed cash sell. A delayed cash sell, a DCS. That is a word, a phrase I'm going to use a lot when I'm explaining this to somebody and they say, I don't understand what you're offering me. I'll say it's a delayed cash sell. It simply means we're going to buy the house from you now. We're going to send you a check in the mail every month until we pay you off in full. Part 2 of the framework is simplify everything. Simplify everything. You hear how I just explained owner financing in 1 sentence? We're going to buy the house from you and send you a check every month in the mail till I pay you off in full. Probably should update that. We're going to send you an ACH every month, but you get the point. And then number 3, always come to a conclusion. I hear I've heard seller calls that were 47 minutes long because the person on the other end of that call was more interested in chatting about God knows what. I just don't have the patience. God bless you if you do. I want to get to the point. So bring it to a conclusion. There's only 3 conclusions to get to. Write them down. Number 1, it's a no. It means they cussed you out and hung up on you. That's the only way I'm accepting it as a no. And maybe not then. Number 2, and the majority, is going to be a follow-up. So a lot of them are not ready for whatever reason. No, I want to do this, or I want to do that. I want to talk to someone. I want to, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to bring them to a follow-up. So schedule follow-up. Awesome. When will you know? Would you like me to call you back this evening or tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock? And then third option, and our favorite option, is send the contract. Awesome. So we have agreed here that contingent on me coming see the property and liking it, we'll be buying it from you for $389,000. I'll be taking over your payments of $1,500 a month. A, B, C, spell out the terms. What's the best email for me to send you this agreement to? All right. So I want to throw it back over to Leo, and he's got a beautiful framework that's going to help this tie together because my mind works in pictures.
Absolutely. So the 119 of us on here right now, make sure that we're ready to see this because it simplifies the business and it gives us a framework to follow. And when us as humans, when we have a framework, we can just operate and we can just start moving just like that. And that's what we want for all of us, is that we don't have to think so much and let our emotions kind of ride. We just do the business. We just make the phone calls. We just structure the deals. And we get into that process. And then you can start to build your team and you can start to expand. So show this here. Let me give me a thumbs up as soon as you can see my screen. All right, cool. So this is the Boston method. It is our unique strategy, which is buy on owner finance, sell on lease option, which enables unlimited growth without banks or traditional landlord hassles. It meets the seller's needs nationwide and helps buyers creating win-win scenarios. So I'll zoom in here so you guys can see. Actually, I'll go to this process here. So if we see the Boston method at the top, what we need to do first is, again, like we said, identify your objectives and then choose your market. You got to know your market. You got to know where you're playing. You got to know what your backyard is, whether you're playing in your backyard. For me, I'm in San Mateo. I'm not going to buy houses in San Mateo. I'm going to go buy houses in Louisville. I'm going to go buy houses in the Midwest where it's a whole lot easier. And we have a team out there. You don't have to have a team out there. Initially, you can start building boots on the ground, but choosing your market is so important to have. It's initial first step. When you guys go through our 90-day accelerator, for those of you that get accepted, our first things we do with you is sit down and me and Andrew, I help you identify your objectives and we help you choose your market. The next thing is you go down and now you're here. This is what we said. We simplified the business. You get leads, you pre-screen the leads, and you negotiate the terms. In other words, leads, calls, structuring. Lead generation, pre-screen, negotiate. As you can see, this is in a loop because this continues. This is the part of the business that keeps on going. That keeps on going. You keep the blood flow going with the leads. You keep the blood flow going for pre-screening, and you keep the blood flow going for continuing to negotiate terms until you get a yes, until you get a good deal. And that's when you move on to the step here, which is when you buy the property. You send the contract, you get an inspection, you close with a real estate attorney, you're at that process of buying the property, and that is when you prepare for a lease option. You prepare for the lease option, then you find the buyers, you go through the same process, you pre-screen the buyers, you negotiate and finalize the lease, you manage the payments, and you execute the option. And where each of these might take time, you go back to this process here of lead generation, pre-screen the leads, negotiate the terms as you get more deals. So as you could see here, the Boston method, it becomes very, very simple on how to actually do this business well. And if you guys are looking here, this is our Trukin 82 challenge that we have. You guys don't need to know that right now. Our students know after the 7 days of you getting onboarded to our coaching, we have an 82-day challenge to make sure you're getting deals. You know, me and Andrew, when we first started doing the 60 days, our main goal is to give everything. Here's everything we have. Here's the entire business. We dedicate 60 days straight to giving you guys everything you need. And then, of course, the people who actually want to hold our hand through the process and make sure you get a deal, that's where you come work with us. And that's where you sign on, we onboard you, and it's a 7-day onboarding to get your market, to choose your objectives, and then 82 days straight of just pounding the phones, of getting really, really good at the business.
And
So
GTFM.
type in the chat Bofslow. Type in the chat Bofslow if you understand what the Bofslow method is. Buy on owner finance, sell on lease option. Spell it out. Because I heard some questions in the chat. What is the Baco method? Well, what is the Basso method? Bofslow. Buy on owner finance, sell on lease option.
So we want to take some questions and give you some answers. And we want you to know that tomorrow, so we're going to be doing probably 2 more days, not in a row, but 2 more days over the next few days, either 2 or 3 more days of live dialing. We want to be dialing your leads, and our objective is to, yes, we want to close your deals alongside of you for sure. And we want to show you, more importantly, how these calls are going so that you can be on the phones and be confident in doing that. So I'm going to be posting in the circle today some of my live seller calls that you're going to love, because they're going to show you how we walk through the successful deals. You can watch them over and over. Make sure you're recording your calls, but I want each of you to be on the phones. I'm going to be calling your deals tomorrow live, and I want to give this piece of homework. All of you have a pivotal point that you are feeling stuck at sometimes, whether that is, oh crap, I need to get the next deal, or whether that's, oh crap, I need to figure out my market, or it's, oh crap, I need to get more leads. I want you to write down, what is that challenge that if it was removed right now, I could actually proceed to the next step. I want you to write that down, and then I'm going to tell you what to do with that before we log off here in 2 more minutes or so after we answer your questions.
All right. First question is from Sharon. She says, am I eligible to refinance a house that I bought several years back, sub 2? The house was recorded into a land trust with me as the trustee.
Read that one more time.
Am I eligible to refinance a house that I bought several years back, sub 2?
Yes.
The house was recorded into a land trust with me as the trustee.
No reason you're not. I would just ask the local bank. You know, a lot of bankers will prefer or require that it's in an LLC name. So it's going to depend on your lender 100%. I would just ask them, show them the paperwork, and it's lender by lender case. But yes, you can absolutely do that.
All right. Question here from Ricky. He says, what CRM do you guys use? It's an interesting question because I know sometimes that's not always necessary immediately, Andrew, right?
Absolutely. So we have, for those of you who are doing deals already, we have a CRM. We don't offer it to the public, but we have, I think, 5 or 6 of our mastermind members who are on it currently. It is something that Ahmed spent years creating, and Leo and I spent multiple 5 figures creating. And it is not just a CRM. It is a CRM that stores all your leads, and it has AI with it. So Arnie also messages your leads, schedules your appointments to call and buy the houses, schedules your appointments for your lease option buyers to see houses. It does a whole plethora of things for you. If you're looking to get your first deal, good old fashioned pen and paper or an Excel spreadsheet and a cell phone will work fine. We just want to get to that next check, and we're going to start automating the business.
All right. Great question from Terrence. He says, why only lease option?
That's an awesome question. It's not required. I just like that because there's no headaches of a traditional landlord. So we do lease options. We have some midterm stuff. We have some short-term stuff. We have a couple of long-term rentals. I just overall, if I'm going to suggest somebody get into the business for the least headache, for the most amount of consistent money. By far, that's been my bread and butter for the last decade, is lease option. But again, get some checks. If you want to go explore some other stuff, then definitely go for it.
All right, question from Sharon. She says, can I buy a house sub 2 that is a reverse mortgage? If not, how would you help this seller out?
You can, and the lender will definitely call it due the moment they find out that it's not being lived in, because that's the whole point of a reverse mortgage, not being lived in by the person who got the loan. So I have never bought a reverse mortgage sub 2, with the exception of one that I know I'm either going to resell or refi in a matter of days or weeks. Otherwise, point them to a realtor and have them list it.
All right, we've got a question here. What defines a lead? How do we determine if it's a good lead? For example, I drive and look for houses. How do I know this is a lead?
Yes. So the leads, now specifically, what I call a lead, including what you're sending to us, is it number one, it has to be someone you spoke to who has a house for sale, and you have the basic information: address, seller name, phone number, mortgage information. Will they accept payments? Yes, no, or maybe. And then any information about it. A lead is not, I went and screenshotted something on Zillow. A lead is not, I went on Facebook Marketplace and they sent me a phone number. A lead is someone you've spoken to. It's a real person with a real house for sale and real numbers who currently are looking to sell that.
Okay, and Emily says, at some point, I'd love to see a live stream where we go through and screen what makes good leads on websites like Facebook Marketplace.
Absolutely. We should note that down.
All right, thank you for the suggestion. And do we have time for one more question? Or are we all out?
One more. Let's do it.
Okay, what's the fastest way to wholesale a deal for quick cash if you had to pick only one to focus on?
Best way to wholesale a deal for quick cash is I would go find at least 10 ways to find sellers. I would narrow down to my top 3. I would use those top 3 ways to find motivated sellers. I would contract a deal ASAP. The moment I contract that deal, I would do one of 2 things. I would post it up online and assign it, or I would find someone who already has a huge database of buyers. Like, for example, in Louisville, there's a real well-known realtor named Rob Bergeron who has thousands and thousands of cash buyers in a list, and he charges a $2,000 flat fee to bring you a buyer. So 2 notes. Number 1, you wrote down that pinpoint of your challenge, and I'm getting ready to give you homework on that. Before I do, I like that term, homework. Give you an action that will help you break through that. That's better. And before I do that, I want to give you a note. So definitely keep your leads coming in, drew@truca.com. Keep your leads coming in. Make sure they are, again, someone you spoke to and the lead sheet is completed. Please note on that lead sheet your name, because as we print them out and we're calling them, I want to make sure we track each of those leads to the appropriate one of you without having to dig through our emails again. So make sure it's someone you spoke to. You have as much information as possible. On the activity to break through, it's so funny. For Father's Day yesterday, I took my dad this gift, and it says, "I want to hear your story." And this is a book you read, and then he gets to fill in the blanks with things about his life. And he opens it up. He goes, "Oh, nice! You gave me lots of homework to do." So I said homework. That's what I thought of. So you wrote down that pivotal point, that challenge that you're facing, not enough leads, getting on the phones, whatever it is. Now, I want you to write down at least 3, if more come to your mind, what's 3 things you could do that will overcome this. If it's finding a market, just literally say, if I had a gun to my head and I had to know tomorrow, what would I do? Well, darn it, I would probably just go find a market and start dialing. So how do we break through this challenge in the next 24 hours? I've been afraid to get on the phones. Cool. Let's connect up and let's force you to dial your first lead. If your challenge has been several have fell through, cool. How do we get 10 more leads filled out? So whatever that is for you, at least 3 ways to break through that. Tomorrow, we have some amazing live dials for you and some exciting stuff. What else should have I had covered here, Leo, that I did not?
Absolutely. We are the solution to many of our problems, mostly all of our problems, if we just do the things that we know we have to do. And I could just leave it at that. If we just did that, I swear to God, things would be better for you. We're here to give that advice, but really make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror and you get excited about the growth that you're about to have. And you've been here for 14 days with us straight, and we've been coaching you guys. We've been giving you guys this advice. Those of you who are new here, welcome in, and continue
Welcome.
joining us, because it really is just the energy of being here, and energy can be transferred, whether it's through person to person, person to computer to person. But let that energy fulfill you, fuel you, and let's keep it up.
Let's go. I'm excited for you guys. We're going to bring the energy 110% tomorrow. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite anybody you see on the street. Go to Walmart, tell people to show up, do whatever you have to do. Bring people who need this, and let's close some deals tomorrow. We want more $63,000 checks floating around, partly because we want you winning and partly because it's really good for our brand. Much love to you guys.
That's right. Always be here on time tomorrow.